morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Class 7 of Being and Becoming at Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville. Welcome all of you watching in time and space or out on the web. For us, it is March 12th, 2018. There's only here and now, so we are all here together. We always begin in spiritual mind treatment, so take a deep breath and let it out. And as you continue to breathe wonderful, relaxing, deep breaths, we move into that state where we know. We know and we know that there is some kind of a presence and a power, an essence of all that is right where we are and is beyond out into infinity. We open up to that awareness that somehow we are created out of that. We are individualized points of manifestation of spirit. We are connected with all that is, and all that is us. We are glorious, magnificent manifestations of the divine in form, alive and well on planet Earth. And in that, we know that whatever we need from this class, we have. That we are divinely guided and directed. We have every answer to every question, every solution to every problem. Our way is made clear. We know what to do, and we have everything that we need to do it. Our lives are blessed with health and happiness, prosperity, love, and joy. And knowing that we are deeply blessed with great, great gratitude, we simply release this treatment into all that God is. Because we know that God is all. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You need a book. You said you.
So how have you been for 2 weeks?
Great.
Come on in, Amanda. Welcome back from Labyrinth Buildingville. Who said they've been great? Yay.
Yeah, sure.
Good, good.
Coming back, you know, she had a little sprain in her back.
Right.
It's
Right.
gone now.
Of course it is. Of course
We
it
were
is.
going to
We're
the
queen of
chiropractor and
miracles.
doing lots of treatments.
Hey Drew, come on in. So 2 weeks went by. You guys good? Everything's okay?
Good.
Hello? Are you Arden? No. You are Lissa? Somebody help me.
S.
Sandy. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you for coming back to class. We had a little conversation 2 weeks ago about what would happen if we actually did shut down the class for three weeks. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited about starting part 2 of the book, Being and Becoming. And this is the part that takes it from the head to the heart. The intellectual understanding of science of mind is that there's only one power and presence, that we are a divine point of creativity in the mind of God, and that there is a universal law that we impress our thoughts upon, and as we impress those thoughts upon law, the subjective nature of life takes that and brings it forth into manifestation as the effect of our cause. That's the intellectual understanding. And one of the things that I love about Fenwick is he takes us right into the bosom of the teaching. And the chapters today are the God who hears us, the God who loves us, and the God who heals us. And so that's much more of an emotional relationship to this understanding of oneness. We don't want to abandon the idea of oneness. We don't want to move into extreme duality of saying there's some kind of a deity up on the cloud that's going, yo, Barbara, I hear that. I got that. No. How is it that we can say that whatever spirit is, it hears us?
Because it is us.
Because it is us. So how can that which is us not hear us? How can that which is us not be aware of us?
Because we're not listening. It can't not be.
It can't not be. You may not listen, Jane, but Spirit listens. Spirit's got you.
Well, thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness.
I heard a wonderful analogy yesterday. It was some yogi, they were referring to it as when you see something, you're seeing it inside yourself. So whatever you see or hear, it's all inside you already.
Right. It would not be in your awareness if it was not first in your consciousness. That's why two people can be in an identical situation and have completely different experiences. Two people can sit in our sanctuary for a celebration of life, and one person can sob saying, "This is exactly what I've been looking for all of my life. I've finally come home." And the person right next to them can say, "These people are all nuts. They're all Pollyannas. They're all into superficial happiness and money, and I'm out of here." Because what is in our consciousness is what we see on the outside. So if someone is in alignment with love and peace and joy and harmony, they're going to live in a loving, peaceful, joyous, harmonious world. And it will be people with people who are loving, peaceful, joyous, and harmonious. If someone else is a dirty, rotten racket-fratchet, they're going to live in a world that is racket-fratcheting them. Because that's what's in their consciousness. That's why when people say, "The world is this way," I go, "No, that's your world." And even on an objective level, what you are seeing is a very small part of the whole. So my world is filled with abundance and peace and love and joy because that's what I bring to it. That's what's in my consciousness. So if we have this idea of oneness and that spirit is all that there is and that we are not only a manifestation of spirit, a creation of spirit, but we are actually spirit at the point of us, then how can that which spirit is not be aware of us? It's impossible. So spirit must be aware of us. Spirit must have an understanding and awareness of who we are, what we want, what's going on. But that doesn't mean that there is some God up on a cloud that is then intervening in our lives or judging what we are doing or in some way changing the course of our destiny, our future, our lives. And that's what people have a hard time with if there is that idea of the personal spirit, which is what this whole second part of the book is about. Then isn't that personal spirit going to come in and save my ass? Isn't that what's going to happen? No. Because whatever spirit is, spirit cannot go against its nature. And although its nature may be love, the nature of spirit must be freedom. And so we enter into free will, that we have the ability to use this creative power in any way to lift ourselves up or tear ourselves down, and we are loved and heard all the time. We are not abandoned for it. There is an awareness of us, but there is not an intervention that says, "Barbara, you don't want to do this. You know, I am the all-knowing, all-seeing deity, and I can see down the road in your life and see where this cause of causes is taking you, and you don't want to go there, and I love you so much that I will intervene on your behalf and stop your cause from showing up as effect." That cannot be, because that would be a limited universe. And so when we get into this idea of the God who hears us, the God who loves us, the God who heals us, we don't want to overlay personality onto this all-wise, all-knowing, all-intelligence concept of deity and say, well, any God in its right mind would have helped me out. No, the only one that can help you out is you. But that doesn't mean that we're separate. And sometimes in these teachings it can feel like we're all alone because our creation is all of ours, that we are the ones creating our experience, And so we are all alone in the process because there isn't anything to intervene on our behalf. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Because the truth is that we are one with everything, one with everyone, one with every when, and we have all of that love and support at our beck and call, but we're the ones who must beck and call. Beckon and call. Yo, good. Come on over here. And then that happens because the universe supports itself. The universe is not against itself. If the universe was against itself, what would happen? Chaos. It would be chaos. So the universe has to be for itself, expanding, but not for itself in that I'm for me and not against you, not in a competitive realm, in a creative realm. The universe must be supportive and for and growing and giving in order for it to be. And so here we are, not separate from spirit, divinity, the universe, whatever you want to call it. We are a point of it manifesting as us. At some level, we are the whole shebang. It must, therefore, be uplifting and nurturing and loving at the point of us. So you've got the whole of life supporting you in every whim, in everything. There cannot be an outside power that says, no, you don't. It's impossible. There is only infinite substance and supply and love and joy available for you, available to you, simply for your beckoning and calling, for your opening up to it, for your, like Jane was saying, Jane's got to hear herself in order for her to have an awareness of spirit hearing her. And so that's where a lot of our psychological healing needs to come in. If we have really poor self-worth, if we have a sense that we don't deserve to have the good life, that we really have skeletons in the closet that we should be punished for, that we have done horrible things in our lives, if we've got a lot of those unhealed ideas and the belief systems that go along with that, that say someone can hurt us and we've got it coming, then we're going to keep the door to our good closed. But I love this chapter because it says there's a power and a presence right there that hears you. And how many of you in your hour of need set the metaphysics aside, it's okay, have called out to something, to help, to hear, to come? And has that not happened?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not bad or wrong. There's a movie that we've got of the making of this center. And in it, I say there came a point where we had lost our initial contractor, and thank God, because God bless him, he had no idea what he was doing. He was a practitioner, and we gave him the money to get his contractor's license so that he could build this place. Now, that really shows some poor decision making on our part, but it proved to be way too much, and he left, and we just had, like iron sticks and concrete and mud everywhere and all of that. And in the meeting, in the video, I said, and there was a point where I called out and said, somebody help us. We need help. And at that moment, John Gustafson, who's a member, and we knew many, many years before we built here, got a distinct message from, and there's no message from Spirit, there's only the revealing of truth within us, but in his awareness, he got a distinct message from Spirit that said, you need to go over there and help John and Barbara finish that center. And he was in the middle of building houses and had, people scheduled for months on end, waiting to get into his schedule because he's such a wonderful craftsman and a builder and a contractor and all of that. And he set all of that aside and spent 6 months working here every day. And I don't know if anybody's here who actually built this place. Do you remember we'd come over, there'd be 30 people here every Saturday for 15 months.
John
We-
actually helped me, I helped him pull wire in that building.
Oh, I wired some of these plugs in this building, it's a miracle.
Yes.
That they're still
I'll agree
working.
with that.
So he was over here every day, literally 7 days a week, as we finished building this center. So what is that? That we call out to something at our wits' end, knowing I don't have anything left. I have no aces in the hole to draw on. I don't know what to do. I have no idea how this is going to happen. I'm in way over my head. I need help. What is that, Drew?
That's surrender.
It is surrender. It is surrender of our separateness that I've got this handled. Wow, I found a metal building in Tennessee and bought it. I can do this. I can build a center. I got a contract. I got a concrete guy that came over and poured slabs. And oh, wasn't it wonderful? We went around and we put crystals in the corners of all the buildings and we smudged and we stood in circles and did prayers. And then they came and poured the foundations, and aren't we on top of it all? Aren't we doing a good job? Until we weren't. Until my sense that I had it under control had to be completely let go. And I had to surrender my separation. When I'm thinking I'm all on top of it and I've got it all together and I'm the head honcho and I'm in control, I'm separating myself. So evidently we had to create enough motivation to be able to throw our hands up and say, we are not in control and we do not know and we need help. And in that surrender, all of the pieces that were already in form, ready to collapse into form, were in place for this to happen, for tonight to happen. All of the pieces 20 years ago had to be there ready to collapse into form. And when we could let go of it, then those greater powers than my own individual ego, personality, thoughts, the greater powers of all of that creation could come into play and pull the perfect and right person into our experience to be able to bring this into form. It was a miracle. We were out in Fairview, North Carolina in a trailer. We built this place. We didn't have a nickel to our name. We had the property. It was cut in half. The Krebs, who were practitioners at the time here, owned the property. They gave us half and they sold us the other half for twice as much as what it was worth, which established value of the parcel we owned free and clear. Now, I have since heard that that's totally illegal. We didn't know that at the time. And I think the statute of limitation has gone by for any problems with that. We didn't know that, so we went to the bank and said, we have this property free and clear, and here's the comp right next door. And this is what it was sold to us for, and this is what this is worth, and we got a construction loan. But we're operating out of a trailer in Fairview, and trying to cover construction loans, and it went on for 15 months. And finally, the thing that really pushed us into moving in was that we could not make one more construction payment. We just didn't have it. It wasn't going to happen. And so we really buckled down with the crew, volunteer and paid, and got agreement that we would be finished in 2 weeks, and we would be over every day in their face. When are we going to be finished? You're going to get your CO in 2 weeks. When are we going to be finished? Well, what are you doing to get finished in that? And we would be just riding everybody to get our CO to move in. And sure enough, we got the CO and we moved in.
What's the CO?
Certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
The apple trees are only there because they were in my yard in Fairview, and we needed a certain number of trees. The dogwoods came from my yard in Fairview. We dug them up, we came over, we stuck them in the ground and put some little supports and said, live at least as long until the inspector leaves. You know, and here we are, but there had to come that point where I had to surrender and let go of my plan. Now that doesn't mean that my plan wasn't right and that there was a greater plan from some kind of a God up on a cloud. That's where the slope gets slippery. Because there are a lot of people who think, if I don't get what I want, it's because God has a different plan for me that is not my plan. And so I have to just abandon what I want and go with God's plan, because if I don't, I'm going to get these lightning bolts and, look at what happened to Job. No, but there is a point where we trust that the manifestation has what it needs to come into form, and that we can let go of the micromanaging of it all. Hola, Anna.
Hola.
Jane.
I was there for a lot of that, and that construction and everything. And people would appear who really knew a whole lot. Like I worked with, I didn't know a thing, of course, but Art Ramsey just did all the electricity and ran all the wires and things like that.
No, that was John Gustafson.
Well, no, John was there too, but Art.
Oh, we all did. We
Yeah.
all got sat at a folding table and said, this is how you wire the socket.
Yeah.
And these are all your yellow wires, and these are all your green wires, and they go here, and this is what you do. We had little assembly lines. And then other people would pick them up and go stick them in the wall. So yeah, we did have people. We had people who showed up to build that we thought would be here forever, and as soon as we moved in, they left. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. People who really put their heart and soul into the building of it, but they weren't here for the long haul. It's being here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. People come into our lives for a reason, there's a purpose for it, for a season, a certain amount of time, or they're there for the long haul. Like Jane, you are here for the lifetime of it all.
Oh, yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of the big construction. I threw stuff out of the second floor window.
Yes, that was fun. We did have a lot of fun with all of that, yes. So when you have called, all of that was based on this idea of calling out. When you have called out in your life for some kind of help, some kind of assistance, what happened?
It gets answered.
It does get answered. What happened? Who wants to share?
So many, I can't pick one.
It's like when something magic happens in our
Yes,
lives.
when something magic happens, yeah.
It's no effort and nothing. You think it's not gonna happen, but it's when you feel like magic.
Yes, it's magic. We're talking about the chapter that says the God who hears us, and not an outside God,
Sorry.
but we have, I think all of us have at one time or another called out, either verbally or in our minds, called out for some kind of help. And that help is forthcoming, it comes.
There's always an answer.
There's always an answer, yes, yes. And what Drew was saying, and I was agreeing with, was that there comes a point of surrender where we let go of our individual idea of how it's going to be. We let something greater happen, and that's where the magic is. Yeah. But not to be confused with this idea that there's an outside power that's going to say, no, Michelle, you can't have that. I have plans for you. You just need to suck it up and do what you don't want to do. No. But to think that this teaching says that you are an isolated being in the entire universe, because sometimes Barbara says to you, you're the only one in your universe. Except you people it with reflections of yourself from the consciousness that you hold. So you're not alone. But sometimes people can take that and they can feel like I'm all alone. It's all on me. It's all my fault. It's all my responsibility. I have to do it. I have to make it happen, and I don't get to have any help. And that's not true. He's saying that because whatever spirit is you, then you must be heard. You must be heard. And I think there's some, I think that all of us want that at some level. We don't want to give up our autonomy for it. But like that song, His Eye is on the Sparrow, I know He's watching me, that's comforting. To know that whatever it is, I am important in the creative flow. And some people would say not only are you important, but you are critical, and that the universe could not be without you. Because the universe could not have an infinite whole and not have Michelle, and not have Nicholas, and not have Sandra. There would be a hole in the infinite, so the infinite would no longer be. That whatever spirit is, you are required. I don't like the word need because it brings up neediness, but that you are required for the wholeness and the completeness of all that is. And so there's that, and if you can turn that from an intellectual understanding to a feeling, it comes out as the God who hears us. And that has a feeling that there is something that I can ask for help. Oprah, when she was in the height of the Oprah show, she said she had a team. And she would send her team out before she went to any contract or negotiations or anything like that. She would send her team out to take care of all the details. So that when she physically got there, then everything was in alignment, there were no last minute glitches, everything was a win-win, except that team was not in physical form. But she had an aspect of her consciousness that she would send out to that person, to that company, to that situation, and have that part of her take care of everything. And then when she physically showed up with her entourage and her lawyers and all of that, everything just fell into place. And how many times have we, in going into some kind of a negotiation or a bank or an attorney or a real estate deal or a job interview, something like that, instead of having our team, our aspect of our consciousness, straighten everything out and bring it all together, we've had worry go out, we've sent worry out before us to mess it all up. And so that worry then throws, what is it called on that TV commercial, mayhem, throws mayhem into it, and instead of everything falling into place, everything falls apart because we have interjected fear. So what we want to do is we want to know that the entire creation of our every desire is in alignment with the fulfillment of that desire. How can life not be for greater life? It's impossible. Life must be for greater life. Life must be for the daffodils blooming. You know, if the daffodils didn't bloom this year, they would be dead. They'd be dead. And so life cannot be, I'm getting tripped up because I'm dealing with levels of effect in the relative and trying to talk in the absolute. That which is life must support life and must be joyous, if joy is a verity of spirit, must be joyous in the support of that life. So all that is must be joyously supporting our experience and expression of greater life. So the question is, what is the greater life you want to experience and express? What do you want?
Specifics?
Dun,
or
dun,
you want-
dun, dun, dun. Nicholas, and then David.
I've been working with an etheric team for the past year since listening to a man who does quantum jumping, and I find it very effective.
So what do you want?
I want prosperity and well-being and guidance to lead me through
So-
the rest of my life.
All that is joyously manifests specifically for you, Nicholas, as prosperity and guidance and being able to move through the rest of your life. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Doesn't that give you a feeling? No, I don't cough drops. I have been such a proponent in my own head over the decades of all natural healings, that having gone on blood pressure reducing medication 2 months ago, I have managed to create a side effect of a cough that's driving me a little nuts. But just having gone off of that this morning, I am releasing this cough and allowing all wonderfulness to come out of my mouth and throat. Just fasten up to you. David.
I'm glad that's a side effect from your medication. All you gotta do is stop taking your medication, but you gotta monitor your blood pressure really careful.
Right, what were you gonna say about what you want?
Well, I answered that question yesterday at April's class, and I want more, I don't wanna stop working completely, but I do want more time to enjoy fun things, playtime. I want more playtime, less work time.
Wonderful. So when you say I want more playtime and less work time, if you have a belief that says, yeah, but
Yeah.
I gotta work to make the money, where's the money gonna come from? Money doesn't just grow on trees, and life's not just gonna give it to you.
Learning to do the same thing for less. I wanna do the things I wanna do, but I'll do it for less.
So what I'm saying is if you have a belief that says, I need to accept less if I'm going to have more free time, but I can do it because I'm Dave and I can suck it up and make it work, then that's one thing.
Some people would say I have to work more to acquire whatever it is that you want to play, whatever level of playing you're playing at, and what it costs to play.
Yeah, that's all the same belief system that you're talking about.
Okay.
So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that the entire universe joyfully manifests as the point of view with an abundance of money and an abundance of time and an abundance of joy. Period. And you don't have to work it out or figure it out or horse trade for it. You don't have to do that because of this idea of oneness, that whatever spirit is, spirit at the point of view must support your greater life. And your greater life includes more fun, more joy, more prosperity, the same way that the trees grow every year. If the trees shrank every year, that would be backwards. So you're simply moving in alignment with all that is. In an infinite, everything within the infinite must be constantly expanding. So you, David, must be constantly expanding in your life. And when you're in alignment with that, that's what demonstrates. Drew.
I've had some incredible healings. And incredible moments where I've hit my knees. I mean, where I've hit my knees, and
You got a brace to prove it.
well, that was from bowling,
That was a good
or there was 5 of them. But basically, it's not just a surrender, just like in my meditation, and healing, you surrendering to the divine higher power. It's not just I give up and take it away, God. It's a surrender and a trust that you are that point of a greater everything, and that you don't have to micromanage or anything, because if you do, it's usually nice and not as good as when you let go of, and you just have your intention, and divine just figures it all out and brings it all to you, just like all those people.
Well, it's already here.
It's already there.
So our insistence on making it happen actually keeps our good from us, which is just fascinating to me. The more that we relax, the more that we have. The more that we try to force it, the less that we have. But that's my issue with this whole thing. I'm still processing that song from a couple of Sundays ago, Let Go and Let God, because the way that comes across to a lot of people is put your own ideas aside and let God do whatever God is going to do, as if they're two separate things. So I don't want us to go down that road, that I need to let go of my own personal desires, my own personal course in life, and let you know, most of us, when we say the word God, we've got a lot of stuff on it. And let some anthropomorphic deity of my childhood then have control of my life. That's not the point. The point is that there are aspects of us that are constantly getting greater and greater and greater in levels of consciousness and awareness. And what we want to do is we want to move from the more limited ways of seeing life, which are usually fear-based and based in separation and anxiety and worry, and move into those greater levels of awareness that know and trust and can accept greater and greater levels of good. It's all us, you know, but let's face it, we have different ways of seeing the world, and certainly that's at a conscious personality level. There's so much more to us beyond our conscious awareness than we can even imagine, and I'd like to tap into some of that part of me as time goes by. Michelle, Linda, Nicholas, and Jane.
I think sometimes, or at least for me, I judge myself, and that sometimes keeps me from letting go of something. And like an example that I can think of is after my brain injury. So not long after I meet Larry, he starts to help me with things, you know, around the house that normally I did myself. And he was outside doing something on my front patio, and it was raining, and I went upstairs and I turned the water on in a sink. I don't even remember what I was doing. Forgot about it, went downstairs. I'm sitting in the living room and there's water pouring into my kitchen from the ceiling, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's raining, there's a leak in the roof. I run out to him and I'm like, I have a leak in my roof, I have a leak. You know, he comes in and he goes upstairs and he's like, did you turn the sink on upstairs? And I was like, and I started crying, and I was like, I don't know if it's the brain injury, I don't know if it's just something I did that's stupid. There I go judging myself, and he looked at me and he goes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he said, on your, you know, your best day is a lot of people's, I mean, your worst day is a lot of people's best day, and I'm like,
Oh, he's a keeper.
but I'm judging. He is. I mean, I totally was like, oh, and then he, you know, he took me to Home Depot, we got fans, we pulled things up, and but I was in that moment, like, in my mind, I would have thought it was okay if it was my brain injury, not if it was me just being stupid.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you kind of judge yourself. You're like, oh, you know, it's okay to, it's okay if I ask for help if I'm not doing something that's contributing to this.
Right, right. One of the things that Ed Wein taught me is that as a culture, we've lost a very important word. Oops. You know, everything is such a big deal. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Just oops. And do over and move on. What was it the kids said yesterday about springtime? We always get a do-over. Yeah. Linda?
What you were talking about before Michelle's story reminded me of when you're taking, when you're learning to be a lifeguard, and you go to somebody who's thrashing and you say relax, which of course is not what's in your head. But to me, letting go and letting God is somebody sees, I mean, part of you sees the whole picture and you can't when you're sitting there struggling. So if you let go into the moment, then it all just calms down and you get where you want to go anyway.
Right, and I'm sure that's the way it was presented. It's my job to make sure nobody left thinking that there's an outside power that they're supposed to let have control of their life, and that that's a good thing. So that's the only thing I was, and you're like my work bench, you know, I just want to make sure that we're all good. Hold on, thank you, Breezy. Nicholas?
I find that letting go for me meant sometimes getting out of my own way with what ifs and buts and all that kind of stuff. All that fear. And I'm always reminded of what Rocking Bear taught us, that love is an action.
Yeah.
And I find that prosperity and love are so layered, and it's a matter of being able to receive. To be able to receive the love is the same thing. If I can't receive love, I'm not going to receive prosperity.
Right, and he talks about that with the God who loves us in the next chapter. He absolutely talks about that. That being in alignment with love and demonstrating the good in your life are one and the same. Yes. Jane?
I get puzzles are my hobby, and so I do these puzzles, And I notice that when I really, I think to myself, I gotta get this stuff done and stuff. And when I do that, I just, when I let go of all that, and say, well, I don't care, but, the puzzle just comes, you know, just, but when I lose my conscious desire for conscious control.
Well, because you're fear-based, you know, and you're the only one in the house, and the fact that you're beating yourself up
Yeah.
about not finishing the puzzle fast enough is fascinating
Yeah.
on its own.
Yeah.
And then when you let go of that and say, well, I don't care when I finish it, then everything falls into place.
Yeah, and the puzzle gets solved. No
Right,
problem.
Drew?
Basically what he said. And I guess for me, I know that I won't be pulled off my intention. I mean, because when I relax, let go, trust, because that's the big thing, is to trust and let go. I get out of my own way, get out of my own head,
There you go.
and my intention will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It may happen slightly different and better, and
Right.
usually 10 times better, and people will help, and then everything will work out amazingly enough that it's like, how did you get that done? I don't know. You know, miracle 27,422.
Right.
So it's, I have done that in the past, done that whole chasing myself around in a circle, why isn't things working, blah, 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 because I'm too into my head
Yeah.
and not going, get myself out of my own way and relax,
Right.
let go,
And then it
and
comes.
trust it, because your intention is not gonna be like wiped off the planet. No, you gotta go do this now. No.
You're operating out of fear
Yeah,
and
yeah,
separation.
It's a fear,
Yeah,
so
when
so
you
you're
stop
just-
that,
yeah,
everything falls into place.
Yeah.
exactly.
Great,
Boom.
Anna.
Yeah, for me,
That's-
let go is like, how can I trust? So that there is God, and I feel like emptiness,
Mhm.
because when you say, yeah, I believe, I have faith, but you're holding things, so it's nothing happening. I
Right,
mean, I'm holding things.
Right.
So nothing happened. But now, coming to your class helped me to practice to trust.
good.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Good.
Yeah,
Let me get you on camera on that one.
yeah.
Susan?
Yes, to what everybody's saying. For me, I feel myself becoming fearful. And I know that the faith is there, but the fear is blocking it. And I have called out either yes or no, you know, no more of this or more of this. And I liked having that something to have my back and to hold,
You
and
can
to
feel
actually
it.
feel
Uh-huh.
myself. I used to imagine, like, when I was doing A Course in Miracles, like a giant Jesus figure, this is from a Jewish girl, but like a giant Jesus figure, like as big as the Lincoln Monument, and I was this teeny weeny little thing in the arms of. And it was a vision I had, it was part of a meditation I had. But, so for me, I just got something this morning, I get stuff from Alan Cohen every morning. And he said, fear and resistance are the dragons that stand at the door of the temple that contains the jewel you seek. Just keep going.
Wasn't it Alan Cohen that wrote The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very nicely put.
yeah.
Wonderful.
So the fear, and the fear is that, for me, it just becomes, it tries to become like a shadow that just blocks out
Mhm.
the faith, my faith, and my belief. And I could preach and defend and proselytize about my belief, but when the fear is there,
So that's why we have practitioners, and I believe that that's why there are 7.5 billion of us on the planet, because we're really not meant to do this all by ourselves. And it's not to say that you should never call out. I think that having a sense that there's something that hears us is healthy. Not to fall into duality, but that there's something there. And to be able to have someone hold our hands during that is very wonderful. Look at all the community that we build here. And a lot of it is we are here for each other. And so we have that sense of connectedness. The feeling, I think any time that I go into pre-op and treat someone in to go into surgery, I always include that they are wrapped in the arms of the angel and held during that procedure. That the hand of the surgeon and the hand of God are one hand, restoring health and wholeness to their body, and that the room is filled with beings of love and light, so that they feel like they're not going in there all by themselves. You know, don't turn me loose to these people all alone. No, you're not alone. You may not see the energies that are supporting you, but that you are supported. And for us all to take from this one chapter that we are supported in life, we are heard in life, we are loved in life, and that is the only thing that can happen for life to live. Anything that goes against that is neurotic, it is a false belief, and it does not serve us. It is a lie. Anything that says you should not, because of whatever, you're all alone in this, baby. You know, Barbara says you're the one creating your reality, and if you want it different, you've got to set a different cause in motion to create a different effect, and you need to get off your butt and start setting those new causes in effect. And you need to do 1,000 mantras every day, and you need to start meditating for 3 hours in the middle of the night. You need to read more books and go to more classes and make this happen. That comes from a limiting belief. And that's where metaphysics was for a long, long time. Having this sense that I must be loved, I must be supported, I must be lifted up, I must be, for me to be, for life to be, for form to be, I must be that. And to be able to have a sense of that happening is what brings you into alignment with having the greater and greater life that you want to have, whatever it is. Everybody's got their own idea of what greater and greater livingness is about. But whatever that is, it is here now. It cannot be withheld from you. It cannot be taken away from you. It cannot be dangled like a carrot on a string for when you're good enough. It can't. Life, time and space, all that we can conceive of to be would not be able to be here if that were the case. That goes back to this idea of oneness. In order for a oneness to exist, all of spirit must be supporting you, because that means it is supporting itself. It's supporting itself as you. Spirit cannot work against itself, or it'll fall apart in chaos, like you said. So if you can start to feel into that yes, you can have a conversation, you can be heard. Doesn't mean that you're crazy, it doesn't mean that you've given all your power away. Be mindful, but you can have that sense that there is something supporting you, opening up the doors, making your way clear, turning on the light when you move into the space that seems to have no light. We're sending out the team, bringing everything together, clearing up all of the misunderstandings, that you've got that, and you've got it right here and right now. For me, it takes us from the intellectual understanding of cause and effect, the law of mental equivalence, all of this heady stuff. My mind is a center of divine operation. Well, where's the feeling of that? And it brings us into the feeling of it, the God who hears us. And I think that this may be one of the reasons that Fenwick never got promoted in this movement. My God, he's Ernest's brother. He wrote 4 books. And he got nowhere in this movement. And I think that maybe people were so afraid of getting out of their heads that they couldn't deal with that. And Ernest was really good up until the end of his life and being very heady. He was not terribly touchy-feely. So for us to be able to embrace that feeling without going over to the dark side, you know, without going over into duality and outside powers and that we don't deserve it and something's going to take it away because that's called trusting and faith. No, that isn't. For us to be able to have that sense of presence, there's a presence and a power. Where's the presence in your life? How comforting is it when you need to be comforted? Can you feel it wrap itself around you? Which is just opening yourself up to feeling that presence that is there. Can you feel that in your life? Can you have that in your life? Can you allow that love to come into your experience and then accept that as greater and greater levels of living? Because I think that's where it's at. And I know lots of people who have been able to espouse these teachings with clarity and conviction, except they couldn't live it. And I think that that's where the step wasn't taken, to be able to feel it. There was so much fear that if I let go of control of my way and surrendered and trusted to my way as a greater way than that which I can consciously understand, that I would go back into the world of good and evil and hell and heaven and God and the devil. And that's what I was talking about yesterday, about going back to the oneness, because the two-ness can get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, Drew and then Jane, and then we're going to take a break.
I didn't even raise my hand. Oh, okay.
Sure you did. You're back to going like this.
No.
I'll move on, Drew.
I think I'm gonna get some tattoos. One on this that says everything you want is on the other side of fear, and over here,
Say I.
I surrender and trust.
Thank you. Everything I
because
want.
when I do this in frustration and it just oh, look at there. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, good. So it just boom.
But if you tattoo on that on your arms, make it I. Everything I want. Yes. Jane.
I'm not very good at spiritual.
Don't say that.
Well.
Jane, you took crack one. Yes, you were.
Yeah. but
Okay, so rephrase it and start again.
I have a sort of a different mind than.
Rephrase it and start again.
Okay, basically, I really stopped reading Fenwick because I found him to be very paternalistic.
Oh, I know, he's got a he in there all the time. Although in your reading for tonight, he does say, we talk about God as he, only not to give it gender identity, but to give it personalness. And that's the only way he could do it. This book's 100 years old.
But his attitude toward his.
Oh yeah, 100 years ago it was a very patriarchal society. So what I submit to you is that you may be cutting off your nose to spite your face. You may be allowing your reactions to his way of speaking to miss what he's saying.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay?
I'll give it another shot.
Good, thank you. Nicholas, and then we are going to take a break.
I found that your talk was so right on ones and twos in service yesterday. And ironically, we went to a movie, A Wrinkle in Time, which is very good visual. But again, it supports the whole thing of the polarity of the side.
It's the
face
hero's
of
journey, and the
evil.
hero has to face the dragon.
And it just gets to be overwhelming that is so propagated in our
That's
society.
the story. That is every story.
Well, no wonder why this man wasn't accepted, because, you know, if 100...
Yeah, you're not going to make a movie that just says we opened up to love. And all was well. Yes. There's no story, and that is the hero's journey. It's just, if it can be portrayed as it's the dragons inside of ourselves. It's the fear inside of ourselves that we must face. It's not on the outside. The only reason it's on the outside is it's because it's on the inside. And so when we only deal with it on the outside, we still carry it around on the inside. You notice that in the movie, they never did fix the problem. At least in the book, they didn't. They got the father back, they got the brother back, but they never fixed the evil and all of that. It's still hanging out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when we don't fix it inside of ourselves, then it's still on the outside. But
And then you have a
that's life.
sequel.
Pardon me?
Then you have a sequel.
Then you got a sequel. But the hero's journey for everyone is that we leave at a certain state of development. On a story, it would be a child leaves to go out into the world, and then they come across certain obstacles. Those obstacles challenge that person to go beyond their limitations, their fear, to find courage and powers inside of them that they never knew that they had, and then they come back to what would be their family or their village or themselves as a different person. Bilbo Baggins, classic hero's journey. And we all have that hero's journey.
Wizard of Oz.
It's the hero's journey. It's an archetypal journey that we all take, but we all take it inside of ourselves. We go into the darkness, into our doubts and fears and limitations. We find things inside of us that we did not know that we had, and we return to ourselves as a more mature version of us. And that hero's journey goes on and on and on. It's a constant evolution of consciousness.
Is everybody guaranteed to have a good outcome to this?
Sooner or later,
Sooner.
because all that is, I mean, I'm so used to saying the universe, but the universe is a limited concept and an infinite, because it's time and space. All that is must continue to evolve and expand. So we, as all that is at the point of us, must continue to evolve and expand. Are we going to do it in this body? No, not for all of us. Some of us are going to take the long road. Some of us are going to take a shortcut. But we all must evolve and expand. And I think we're evolving into love and expanding into our oneness. And that is a guaranteed for everybody.
So we're all one with the universe then?
We're just, even the universe is a limiting concept in an infinite. Because the universe is based in time and space. And time and space is a very small part of infinity. It is the formless that contains all form, the limitlessness that contains limitation. But we're talking about that which goes beyond it. But yes, Jane, you are sure to get it. Let's take a look. My recorder on?
Do you have any slides or a slide
Hell
to
no.
show up?
No. No evidence Really. So, are we done with the idea of the God who hears us? Sure, Susan says sure. So moving on to chapter 16, the God who loves us. Now that takes me back to Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about there is something outside of us that loves us, although, as we talked about with being heard, sometimes it may feel that way. I think one of the biggest dangers of the human condition is not allowing ourselves to feel loved. Whether it's from a spouse, a lover, a child, a dog, a cat, have some love in your life. Because when we are not in that consciousness of being loved or being lovable, we are separate from all that is. And what Fenwick says is that love is our natural state, and when we are not in alignment with that, that's when limitation and disease comes into our lives. And I know that there are a lot of people who can look back at their lives and see when something started being out of whack, that there was a feeling of not being loved or not being lovable. And that manifests itself in our bodies. It finds root in organs or systems or joints or something like that. And it grows from that lack of love. And then he's saying, well, if it came from lack of love, then what's going to help it go away?
Love.
Love. Because love is going to fill up those places that up until now, limitation or disease has inhabited, and there won't be any room for that because we are so filled with love. And as we are filled with love, we are in alignment with our true self, our true nature, and our true nature, is our true nature sick?
No.
No, can't be. Is our true nature limited?
No.
No, can't be. Is our true nature miserable
No.
or depressed? No, so whenever you feel those things, remember that is a lie. And the important thing to do is to come back into alignment with who you truly are. And who, if we sing every Sunday, there is only love, then love is who we are. I live in a world created by love. Love is what I am. Love is who we are. So he's saying that the God who loves us is the same concept in that the infinite love is manifest at the point of us. We are at some level that is beyond our ability to comprehend on a conscious level. We are all that that infinite love is. There's no room for anything other than love. He's saying that that's the only reality that is true, is that we are love. So when he says the God who loves us, it's not like a God up on the cloud, who's got blessings in one hand and curses in the other, and so for you, you get the blessing, because you never know when the blessing might turn to the curse. It's not that kind of a deal. He's saying that love is the essence of life, and that love must be the essence of us. And so our job is to be in alignment with what?
Love.
Love. So how do you do that? How do you, this is not a rhetorical question, how do you personally, and I want to hear from people I haven't heard from before, how do you personally be in alignment with love? What do you do?
Practice
Practice what?
love.
How?
Starting with myself,
How? What do you do?
believing.
You believe in yourself. Okay. Okay, so Drew is holding up Amanda's hand now. Yes, Amanda, how do you bring yourself into alignment with the love that you are, the love of all of life?
Look for things to be grateful for.
Gratitude, excellent, excellent, excellent. And when you are in gratitude, what happens?
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome when you're in gratitude. Exactly. Who else? How do you bring yourself in alignment with love?
Demonstrating love.
Demonstrating love, how do you do
Like to
that?
others.
Pardon me?
Demonstrating love to others. Demonstrate giving.
Giving
In
love.
service.
You give
In
love.
service.
You're in service to others. And to be in service and to be a generous person, you must have an abundance to be able to give. Otherwise, people who are feeling a lack of love are very stingy and crabby. So you are demonstrating love to others. Great. Who else? How do you do it, Breezy?
I don't know. Probably the service stuff.
You're in service?
Yeah, probably.
Do you do anything nice for yourself?
I don't know.
You bring yourself to the center every time the doors
There
are
you
open.
go, there you go.
I think that's a very loving act, to bring yourself into an environment that reminds you that you are awesome. Yes. Okay, now it's a free-for-all for anybody. How do you demonstrate being in alignment with love?
We were just talking about this, accept a compliment.
Accept a compliment. The only appropriate answer is thank you. Everybody say it.
Thank
you. That's the only thing you get to say. You don't get to say, oh no, that's not true, oh this old thing, oh I don't deserve that. Even if someone's giving you something you don't want, you take it and say thank you. So if you ever give me anything, don't think I'm gonna keep it. Chances are I'm gonna turn it around and give it to somebody else, but I will look you right there and say thank you. Thank you for that.
Or when I appreciate what I see every day in life, the natural people, what I do, what I get, what I give.
Living in gratitude, living in appreciation, yes. Yes, good. Are you cold?
Yes.
Is anyone else cold?
Yeah, it's me.
No.
No.
Oh, no,
No, it's fine. I haven't done it.
Just say thank you.
Thank you.
Well, how does that tie into gratitude?
One of the things that I do to move into alignment with love is I get massaged. Because being massaged is very passive. I mean, other than paying for it. There's really nothing to do.
Except you receive.
What?
You receive.
You just have to lay there and receive.
Right.
Bring it on. So that helps me feel loved. You know, no, I don't want any rough stuff. I don't want rolfing or tie or any of that. I want to be petted with oil. And I want music, and I want a heating pad on the table, and I want it to be dark. That's all I want. I want to just lay there and soak it in. I think that's one of the reasons I like the beach, is because once you're on the beach, there's nothing to do. You can't do anything. Mandy.
Something that really makes me feel full of love on a very consistent basis is if I'm with an animal
Sure.
and they love especially dogs, they love us so much, and then it makes my heart feel full of love, and I love them so much too. So if I feel stressed or angry or going into the wrong place, all I need to do is hug an animal.
Freddie is lucky.
Freddie, or I go to this dog rescue place and help the animals, the ones that are in a cage and all shaking, and if I can pick one up and just hold it and let it relax, it makes me feel happy.
That's wonderful. Again, you're giving in service because you have an abundance. We have all the love that is. What we do is we bring ourselves into an awareness of that which already is. And that's the whole shebang of everything. Everything is already here. Health, prosperity, love, joy, success. What we're doing is bringing ourselves into a state of awareness of that which already is, and acceptance and alignment with that which already is. We don't have to go get it. We don't have to chase it down. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to negotiate for it. It's already here. And sometimes we might have some ideas that say, oh no, I shouldn't have that. And that's where it's important for you to listen to what you say, to think about what you're thinking about, so that you can catch yourself on those kinds of things. When you are letting some old belief come up that says, I don't deserve it, I shouldn't have it, there's not enough, if I take the last cookie, what's going to happen to this person? Take the last cookie. We can't demonstrate prosperity because there are people in Africa that are starving to death. No, demonstrate prosperity, because the greatest hope that I have as the person who is in Africa now, because there's only one, is to lift up my consciousness into greater life and to greater love. And then because we are one, we all rise up. So be careful of some of the traps of thinking that will stop you from feeling alignment of that love that you are. Because without love, we will die. When you block love, you get sick. When you rationalize it and feel like that's the norm, you live a life that is not good. And what we want to not only go good, we want to go greater and greater and greater levels of living. So we need to practice bringing ourselves in alignment with that love that we are. So Jane, when you're beating yourself up for not having the puzzle finished, that's not helping you.
No.
So you have to do something different, which is to say, oh, I don't really care about it. I'm the only one in the house. What difference does it make? I can take 10 years to finish this puzzle. So what?
Yeah.
And then you're in alignment with, hey, I'm feeling pretty good.
Heck with it, yeah.
Good, good, good.
So just throw it out the door.
So-
Into the gutter.
We're gonna have
Sometimes
it.
I have found in the past for myself and for many of my close friends that alignment to love sometimes goes against what we have been trained to
Oh, of
with our
course it
parents. And so when we align to love, some of us have a challenge with, oh, this is gonna make my parents wrong. And it's like, you gotta let go of that one,
Your
dude.
parents were wrong.
Hello.
Most people's parents did not want them to be powerful little beings. They wanted them to shut up and do their chores and do their homework and look the way they wanted them to look and be who they wanted them to be. They didn't want to empower them to be creative, wild, out-of-the-box beings. And yet that's what we're working on for the rest of our lives. We want to be creative, we want to be wild, we want to be out of the box. Because that's where our power lies, and to love that part of us is to give rise to it. So yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that who you are is not making your parents proud. And that's okay. It's critical, it's part of the hero's journey. You gotta move out of that house.
I have a question. We need to be, I need to be in alignment in order to get what I want.
Yes.
But when I get distracted with those demons, but that's happened, you know, so.
So what do you do when you get distracted by those demons?
Oh, I always win. Yeah.
But how do you win?
Oh, that's, I say to myself, that doesn't belong to me, that is not truth. So I focus on what is the truth. That's what I'm practicing now, to trust.
But what is the truth?
The love, the power.
Okay, so you say, you don't belong to me. That's not the truth of me. I am a magnificent being of love and light and power and presence. I am Ana Chavez. I am amazing. See, we're coming back. You're the best, exactly.
Yeah.
You're coming back into alignment with that consciousness of love. And love will do anything. Love is the healing presence of the universe. Love is the energy of life.
It's very powerful.
Love is very powerful.
Absolutely.
So practice checking yourself out. And if I was doing a psychological thing, I would say, okay, now you have to practice self-love, self-forgiveness, forgiveness of everybody else, but you need to do things every day to remind yourself that you're loved. Take a bubble bath, light the candles, do your affirmations, that kind of thing. Whatever you need to do, bring yourself into alignment with love. That is your daily job. That is your job hour after hour, minute after minute, to feel so incredibly loved. And however you do that, that will bring your greatest good into your life. It will make you rich, it will make you healthy, it will make you happy, it will make you look good. That's your job, because love is the essence of life. And Spirit, the God who loves us, don't get too dualistic with me. Spirit cannot love you if you're not in alignment with love. There's no bridge. The doors are shut if you're not in alignment with love. So Spirit is going, Sandra, you are my most magnificent creation. You are amazing. You are wonderful. I love you so much. I've loved you since the day you were born. I love the light that you bring into the universe. I love the way your life has had a ripple effect, touching millions of people. I love your past. I love your future. I love you so much. That is constantly going on in your life. Love is constantly loving you. And if you're not feeling it, it's because you are blocking yourself, and you're the only one who can unblock you.
Last one.
So truly, how much love can you take? And that, I believe, is the most important thing. Abraham says that your only job is to find a better feeling thought. It's your only job. It's to find a better feeling thought. To feel better. Your only job is to feel better. And I would say that your only job is to feel more loved. To feel more love. And when you feel love and you feel loved, you've got plenty of love to give away. And then you're just like this open doorway, shooting love out into your life from an infinite source that's pouring through you and coming back to you, and it's just a love fest.
Free love.
Yeah.
Jane?
Yeah, that, I think love is very effective against anger.
Love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course.
because if someone's angry at you and you don't feel hurt or frightened or anything, you just feel love, they just soften and sort of float away.
People can be angry at us all that they want. It doesn't have to touch us. But it doesn't, one of the good ways to do that is to be so filled with love that there's nothing for that anger or upset to hook
Yeah.
onto us.
Yeah.
People only get hooked because they're hookable.
Yeah.
People are only hurt because they're hurtable. You're only fired because you're fireable. You've gotta have it inside of you first, or it's not gonna happen. And if you've got something inside of you that you don't want to live, fill it up with love. Go around and tell yourself how you are the best, how you are amazing, you are magnificent, that the entire universe could not even be without you. Build yourself up. Nicholas.
I find too that the trap sometimes is putting it off, procrastination, like your analogy of the door. If the door is closed, love's not gonna get in. If you're waiting to light the candle and waiting for, the right time to light the candle or to take the bubble bath, it's all procrastination. It's like, and that's a trap. It's like now is a very powerful time. Right now, right this
It's
moment.
fear. It's fear. It's like Marianne Williamson. You're not fear of your smallness, you're afraid of your greatness. What would happen if we just let loose and we were these amazing, powerful, creative, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth? We could just demonstrate, we could manifest, we could create the life of our dreams, we could change the whole freaking world. How would that be for us if you were the one? You were the one, how would that be? Most people are going, wait a minute, let's slow down, Barbara, wait a minute. And that's what keeps us from having that and being that. Yeah, go for it. What have you got to lose? Even if you die, so what? Go out with a bang.
Yeah.
Go out in a blaze of glory.
Blaze of love.
It's like putting your light under the basket.
Right,
It's, our light will blind others, it will repel others, they're gonna go like this and not want to be near us. That is so not our problem.
Right. For that matter, if you want to be the light of the world, you better take the basket off.
Yeah.
Right.
And some people who want to live in a dim world won't like it.
Exactly.
So what?
Exactly. It will blind them, it will hurt them, actually.
Drew.
But to many others, it will be a beacon
Yeah.
to just,
Right. So moving on to chapter 17, he talks about the God who heals us. What is the method of healing of the God who heals us?
Say that again, please.
What is the method of healing? If you read the chapter, you know it. What is the method of healing of the God who heals us?
Love is a great.
Love.
Love.
So he tags on, 17 tags on to 16, saying that our job is to be in alignment with the infinite love that is us now, and that when we do that, we heal. And that if we are not healing, nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed, healing is simply a revealing of the health and wholeness in every area that already is. Okay, but the language we're using is the God who heals us. So what that healing presence is love. And when we allow the love to be in our awareness, when we open up to the presence of love that already is, we heal. And then it feels like something healed us. But really it is us coming into alignment with our true nature, which is perfect, whole, and complete. So when we're in alignment with that, money shows up, jobs show up, people show up, things happen, we get to experience emotional states of well-being that we didn't, we thought were only available through drugs, but we get to go there and have that kind of a life because of love. So I'm giving you a little bit more motivation to have that connection of love. And if you are not letting the love that you are into your awareness, you're shutting yourself down and it will kill you. I don't say that lightly. You take babies and put them in an orphanage and give them food, shelter, and clothing, and they die. They have to be rocked. They have to be sung to and talked to and have a connection. They have to. They cannot sustain life if you don't have the love. So, who's got a knee that hurts? What do you need to do to that knee? You need to love it. Who's got a hip that hurts? You gotta love the hip. Who's got a kidney that's acting up? You gotta love the kidney. Who's got a child that's not in complete balance with you in relationship? You don't go and complain about that person, you love them. Who's got a bank account that's not expressing its complete infinite prosperity and abundance? Your job is to love it. When we were first going, as a center, and I was doing the books, we would have a big book that had 3 checks, and the stubs and the notebook things, and because it has taken me a while to really trust in the prosperity of this venture called Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, I would take that checkbook and I would hold it in my hand and I would tell it how much I loved it. I would know its perfect wholeness, its abundance, its prosperity, how many lives were being changed through the actions of the money coming in and going out of that, how grateful I was to that checkbook. I would hold the checkbooks, like put your hands on the TV and be healed, that kind of thing. I would hold the checkbook until I was in alignment with that checkbook with love. And then I would open it to see how much money was in it. And it was not uncommon that the amount of money I thought was in it and the amount of money that was in it were 2 different things. Because the physical outer reality will shift when the inner reality shifts. If you take that same checkbook, and that's an analogy for any issue in your life, and you go, oh my God, there's not enough. Oh gee, there's not enough. I hope there's enough, but I know there's not enough. Let me see how much not enough is there. There won't be enough, because we put it in there. But if we can move into love, and love will heal anything. Love will heal your past. Love will heal your future. Love will heal inside of you. You never did anything wrong. Come on. You're a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. You have not done anything wrong. You've done the only thing that you could do at the time that you could do it with the tools that you had at the moment. Well, I'd do something different now. Well, of course you would. We all would. So what? But back then, you did the only thing that you could do in the situation that you were in with the tools that you had to do it. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't hurt anybody. You didn't screw anything up. You're a magnificent spiritual being on your perfect and right path, learning how to be in greater alignment with love. And there is no way that shutting yourself off from love is going to help you or anybody else. It's only going to extinguish the flame. And then you can hide in the dark and not have to be the amazing person that you've come here to be. That doesn't work, because you'll never be satisfied with being small, dark, and mediocre. You will never do that, because each of you has already seen your light. You may have only glimpsed it and run. You may have stood in full orb, but each one of you in this room and each one of you watching online has seen your light, and you will never be content with anything else. So the way is love. Every time you put yourself down, what are you going to do?
Love.
Forgive yourself then.
You're going to forgive yourself, and then what?
Love.
Love yourself. So a put down statement would be like you said, oh, that was so stupid. What are you going to do immediately?
Cancel that out.
And what?
Love yourself.
How?
Replace it with a different thought,
Which would be?
which would be, no, I'm not stupid, this things happen, accidents happen, and move on.
Oops.
Oops, yeah. Like you said.
Oops, things happen, move on. What was it that he said?
He said, when I said, I don't know if it's my brain injury or if I just did this, see the thing and he said it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For that matter, the world of matter doesn't exist. At least the matter that was a nanosecond ago, we have been replaced with fresh matter. So it doesn't matter. Even on my worst day, I'm better than most people at best. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that, I wanted you to get to an actual concrete do from that. Hope.
Well, I was immediately reminded of the Ho'oponopono, which is the, to immediately respond to yourself, saying, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and I thank you. I once drove all the way across country chanting the Ho'oponopono.
I'm so sorry part of that. I'm not. The words I am carry great weight, and I won't follow them with sorry. I am not sorry. I can do it better, but I won't say I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's the prayer, and the chant to yourself.
I know.
For
And I am
having
not
manifested
sorry. Sorry, Humble.
something that made you so unhappy. And you go, oh.
But I won't,
Yeah,
I won't
okay,
follow
sorry.
the phrase I am.
With
sorry.
sorry.
Right. Yeah. So what else could you say, other than just going into that chant?
Oh no, I guess you could just say, oh no, oops.
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 And then what?
I'm thrilled.
You gotta bump it up. You can't just oops.
I love you.
I love
I
you.
am forgiven.
I love you.
Please forgive me.
Amazing.
Well, and you're speaking to yourself. of
I am
course.
forgiven.
I am forgiven.
I am
I am
whole.
forgiven.
Nothing to forgive.
There's nothing to forgive. You didn't do anything. There's nothing to be sorry for. There's nothing to be forgiven for.
I'm happy.
I know that may be a foreign concept.
No, it's not a foreign concept, but I'm not totally sure that.
So let's say that you are telling yourself I'm stupid, and I'm just picking up on Michelle's phrase so we don't have to introduce too many new put-downs into the room. So, boy, that was really stupid. Where do you go? You could go oops, and then where?
My brain is
No, let her do it.
wonderful. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not stupid. I know what to do about this.
I know what to do.
I know
Very,
what to
very
do.
good, very good, very good. Boy, you're so stupid. Oops. No, I'm not. I know exactly what to do. Or, I am amazing. I have access to all of the wisdom and intelligence of the universe. But you want to lift yourself up. Personally, it's like, I am magnificent. I am Barbara Waterhouse. I am amazing. I blow the socks off everybody. I am the best speaker in the world. I am the best minister in the world. I look fantastic. I do that. I do that deep inside of me. So if you go into a put down, which everybody does, then you need to immediately bring yourself back up. And if you want to use the cancel of oops, it doesn't carry a lot of weight with it. It's very childlike. It, lets us off the hook. We get our do-over. But then you need to bring yourself up to where you want to be. How do you come back into alignment with that love? The entire universe loves me just the way that I am. Good. Drew, I want an example.
I've used Ho'oponopono as a stepping stone to get to the things that you were just speaking about. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, and then follow it up with, I'm powerful, I'm love, it's okay, I forgive me.
That's great, and whatever you need to use as a stepping
Yeah.
stone. I've sat in rooms of 1,000 people doing that, and I just refuse to do it. My own personal issue. That's all, just my personal stuff. Nicholas.
I have it too, because
Okay. Now
I
I'll
was,
go.
I was
Hold on.
trained that the
too.
sorry word means that the person is gonna do it again. Whoever is saying that is lying. They will repeat it.
Okay, I don't want to go to this. I want to know what your put down is and what do you do about it, because otherwise all we're going to do is walk out with an intellectual discussion of sorry. I don't want
Okay.
that. I want something real for
I
us.
look at it as mistakes are the way to excellence. That it's fine
What
to
is
make.
your put down? That was a mistake. Okay? What do you say to yourself to put yourself down?
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. And then what do you do when you go, oh my God, Nicholas, I just heard those words come out of your mouth? What are
I
you
turn
gonna
it
do?
around and say I am good enough and I make a tremendous difference.
And you do. Thank you. So do you see how that's real? I want everybody to leave with something real. What's your put down? What takes you out of alignment with love? Mandy.
My put down is, oh my God, I don't know how to do this.
Okay, and then what do you do about that?
Yeah.
Let her have it. How do you lift yourself up?
What I will do in the future,
Yes, yes. What's your plan?
my plan, I know how to do this, and I can figure out how to do anything I need to do.
I know how to do this and I can figure out how to do anything I need to do. Exactly. Who else? Who's got their trigger and what are you gonna do?
Me. When things happen, I say, this is temporary.
This is temporary.
This is a message here that I'm not gonna dig
So what is your put down? What is your trigger? What do you say?
to myself.
Uh-huh.
I don't.
Okay, good.
No,
Okay, we won't
I
bring that
avoid
in
that.
before.
No.
Okay,
No,
good, good,
no,
good,
because
good.
I'm unique.
Yes.
And that's temporary. And I said, I'm not gonna dig. That's
Good.
for-
Okay,
yeah. I
okay.
ask God to reveal to me what's the next step.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how far do you drive to come to class on Monday night?
1 hour and a half.
An hour and a half each way.
Yay.
Yes.
That's
And she
the-
doesn't go to the trigger and she won't bring it into form in this world,
Yeah.
in this class. Because you have worked on yourself for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I am unique.
I am
How
unique.
about that?
Yeah.
You say I'm a failure, I am unique. You say I screwed that up, I am unique. I am unique. I am unique. Do you get that? Good. Does anybody else want to have their own personal process right here in front of everybody? But if you walk out of here and you don't have something and it comes up tomorrow, you won't know where to go. So know that you're forewarned.
I sometimes feel, when there's a dilemma or problem, or I'm locked into something, that it's only gonna get worse, and that's the words that come up for me. And then I have to tell myself, no, it's not, that's just my mind.
So no is the denial, and then how are you gonna lift yourself up? It's only gonna get worse. No, that's just my mind. Then where do you go?
I look at my history and know that everything that ever was there blocking me is not there anymore, and I came through so much that this too is gone.
This too is gone, and my life keeps getting better and better. Take it as far as you can into that uplifting, empowering state.
That's a good.
My life keeps getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura, queen of the cake decorating.
So on weekends, when I'm doing, cooking and cleaning and doing stuff, I'll find myself saying things like, "Oh, it never ends. Well, there's always more to clean," or it's always something to do. And I want to have a good response for that.
You don't have to clean. You don't have to cook.
Well, I haven't manifested my house husband yet, so until then.
Until then, no, you don't have to cook and clean. No, let her
Right,
follow it.
I choose, you're right.
Jane?
I choose to clean my house on the weekend.
There you go. I choose to clean my house. Oh my God, it's never ending. I know people have been here cleaning and I've actually overheard them say, people are pigs. No, you can't bring that energy in here, even if you're a volunteer. You can't do that. So you're going, this never ends. There's always more to clean up, always more to do. There's always so much work. To be able to shift that to, I choose to do this because I live my life in excellence and I live in cleanliness and order and I'm prepared for my world and I'm supporting who I am. Now, if you've set your life up to where your entire weekend is working on cleaning and cooking,
It's not.
good.
But just, I'm tired, by the end of the week I'm tired or whatever and I'm like, and then
You don't have to.
I need to get into
Do it every other week.
Grace and ease.
You haven't seen my house, so.
I don't care.
Are we in chapter 15?
How you feel is more important, contrary to, whatever his name was. It's not how you feel, darling, it's how you look. Who was that guy? How you feel is more important than how your house looks. But if your house looking a mess has you feel less than, then cleaning it would be a good idea, or changing the way you feel. Doesn't really matter how you get to changing the way that you feel. Okay?
Okay.
Good. What's Susan?
Comedian Joan from the red carpet, what's her name?
Rivers.
Joan Rivers, I heard her say once, she stopped cleaning her house because every time she cleaned her house, she'd only have to do it again in 6 months. So she just stopped.
I hired somebody.
Yeah,
No, right?
I was talking about Billy Crystal.
That's
You
marvelous.
look marvelous. But he would say it's not how you feel, it's how you look. Truthfully, it's not how you look, it's how you feel. Your job is to bring yourself into alignment with love for the amazing being that you are. And when you do that, all kinds of things happen, magic happens. He's saying that in creating, thought without feeling is not enough. So I can see Fenwick back there with the debaters of the age, Thomas Troward talking about levels of causation, primary causation, secondary causation, sentences that go on for an entire page and a half, all of this heavy intellectual stuff. And Fenwick is saying a thought without a feeling doesn't manifest. And you've got to bring the feeling into it. And he's saying that the greatest feeling that you can bring is love. So some people say, bring the feeling of already having it, smell the new car, hear it, feel your hands around the steering wheel, put the key in the ignition and go for a drive. He's saying, no, love is the better feeling. Love yourself enough to know that you deserve to have the best of life. And then that car or something else or a driver will show up. Or you'll move out in the country and ride around on a horse, who knows? But trying to think your way through this teaching without the feelings involved is not going to get you where you want to go. So for manifestation's sake, be in alignment with love. For all of life's sake, be in alignment with love. For lighting up the world, being in alignment with love. I see your hand.
That's the first cost.
So would you say to do that, we have to get out of the head and come into the heart?
Yeah, and we have to feel the love of life for us, as us, is us. We have to feel loved. And for some, it feels like literally arms wrapping around us and holding us. For other ones, it may feel like a breeze blowing by us. For someone else, it may be a sign, a demonstration that we're loved. You know, those of you that are Edwin Gaines fans, it was the server in Mexico bringing her an hors d'oeuvre plate of olives with almonds in it. After she called out in her mind, I need a sign that I am loved. And so the waiter brought her the olives with almonds. Did you hear all that story?
Yeah.
Edwin Gaines, old Edwin Gaines stuff. So whatever it is that has us feel loved, then as we focus our awareness and imprint thought into universal subjectivity or the spiritual law of the universe, and it manifests in form, it is doing so in a consciousness of health and wholeness, of completeness, because it is based in love. It's not a passive thing. It's a very active thing. And that's how you feel the love of the universe in you as you is you, and it translates to the God who loves us, the God who heals us, the God who hears us, the God who gives to us. You know, however you want to make those words give you a feeling so that you know that life is a blessing, life is a gift, all is well. Everything that you could possibly desire is yours now, and you get to have that. You get to have that. You've never done anything wrong. You've not screwed things up. There is no black mark against your soul. There is no one watching for you to mess up. None of that is true. There's only love. There's only love, there's only love, and your job is to feel it. Sandy.
How long did it take you to feel that?
I got it in waves. I first found this teaching when I was 28, and I moved from Eugene, Oregon to Fort Lauderdale. And I moved to I did a lot in Eugene. Excuse me. That's when I was on welfare, I was on food stamps, I was giving plasma twice a week. I had a 3-year-old son that I could not feed, and it was making me crazy. And then I pulled my life together, but my teacher moved to Fort Lauderdale, so I packed everything up and moved to Fort Lauderdale. And I remember driving down 26th Street. It was between Sunrise and Oakland Park Boulevard. And it was a busy highway. I just was at my wit's end. And I pulled the car. There was no shoulder. It was a curb, grass, and a sidewalk. I just pulled my car over in the lane it was in and stopped it. And got out of my car and threw myself down in the grass. I had no thought, it wasn't even conscious enough to say somebody help me. I just didn't have anything anymore. And I swear I felt arms come up through the ground and wrap around me and hold me. I felt that, and I can feel it today. It was as if some presence said, it's gonna be all right. And it was. You know, all I had to do was not kill myself. And it worked out really good. But it would come in waves. It would come and it would go. It would come and it would go. Probably because I'm very stubborn and want to do it myself. I want to know how it's going to manifest. I want to orchestrate that manifestation. I want to be in charge of it, because that is the only way I'm going to be okay, is if I hold on tight. And so then I would have to let go. And I would have these wonderful experiences. And then I would be okay, and so I would hold on tight again, because I knew what was best. Yeah. That probably isn't what I should be teaching you.
It is a journey.
Yes, it is a journey. Anything else before we close? I'm glad you're here, Hope.
Thank
Are you going to be okay in your camper tonight?
Oh, I'll be fine.
Good.
With your generosity.
Thank you. Hope is here from Massachusetts.
Well, no, I live in Central Maine, and I've been in
Maine.
Florida playing music all winter.
Have you
on my
met
way
David
home.
Washington, our music director?
No, I just happened, honestly, I put it out on Facebook. I'm like, anybody know anybody in Asheville, North Carolina? Because I'm headed there, and it's gonna be cold. This is kind of ridiculous, so, because normally I wouldn't need to plug in or anything like that. And so it was just, network going, and my old Science of Mind minister friend that I've played music for and gone to her church. And
Carol Anderson.
Carol Anderson.
Okay, now I see
said
the
to me,
connection.
hey, there's a great Science of
Uh-huh.
Mind Center that's a really active, thriving community. You should go check them out. And so I was like, well, I'll just go there. I'll just, pull in as I was still working on. She goes, well, I'll send you a message. I'll send John Barbara a message. I was like, okay, well, let me know. And so I was just sort of hanging out with your dog until I met you.
Good.
Welcome. So
Yes,
thank you.
welcome.
So I'm just trying to weather the storm so I can go home to Maine, because there's big storms coming in the
Yes,
I was
next 3
saying-
days. Big
Yeah,
week.
Sing and play for us first.
I'd be happy to sing and play for you.
Yay!
Yeah, now that we have her captive, right?
And then you'll miss the storm in Maine.
I wish it was
And then you'll miss this big storm in Maine.
Yeah, I have to miss the big storm in Maine, because I'm driving a 1-ton camper van, and I'm not driving it through like Virginia and the hills and
You
stuff.
should. You're welcome
In
to
the
stay.
snow. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Anything else before we close?
the daughters.
Good class.
Yeah, I know. She's been in my dam.
Always a good
I
class.
always feel wonderful when I'm here.
We're the best
Good.
class.
I just really do. It's like, it's the shot I need, it's the love I need, it's the support, the faith, the hope, it's you, it's everything. I just really do. I used to be the beach for me. Oh, if I could just get to the beach, I know I'll be okay. Well, if I could just get here.
Good.
I always can. So
Good.
thank you.
It's not just me, it's everybody.
I know it is. I know it is.
If it's just me, we're very dysfunctional.
No,
I put in too many years here to be that dysfunctional. It's everybody.
it is. It's the community, it's the energy that everybody has who comes here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know that.
Good, 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 good. We're going to finish this book pretty fast, and then Fenwick actually has 2 other books. How to Develop the Faith That Heals, which is on the website, and one that somebody just gave me. Something about matter. What is matter, or something like that. So we'll definitely do the How to Develop the Faith That Heals after this book.
That's not available in.
You already did that one. What?
The faith that heals is not available in French, you said.
I don't know, I haven't looked for it.
Oh, okay.
My last 6 months have been up to today, to get John out of being president of Centers for Spiritual Living, to get through all of that, to go to Costa Rica and take a breath, and to get back here when everything that's been out there holding on can start being put together again, one of which is, where do we get the next book? So, I know it's on the website though. Good, Steve.
Will you do the prosperity course this summer?
Oh yeah, every summer. We started off with a
I missed it
firewalk.
last year.
And remember, a week from Friday, we're doing a firewalk out here. The 23rd at 6. Friday, not 7, 6. Drew,
Will the firewalk have a slow lane?
A slow one.
there's no slow lane in the
It's a
firewalk.
meandering lane.
Some people dance on it, some people shuffle, some people fly over it.
What's the date of it?
The 23rd. Take out what you're gonna give.
What? Digger?
We just turned 17, so.
And those of you watching online, you too can be a part of this giving to this center that so freely puts its information out on the web for you. You can go to our website at www.cslasheville.org, and any of the pages have a Donate Now button. Click that button, it'll take you to our PayPal account, and you can be a part of this flow. And what I know is that God is the source of all supply. That the entire unformed substance and supply of the universe and beyond is spirit becoming manifest. So I know that whatever we are giving, checks, cash, money orders, precious jewels, gold and silver, deeds of trust, love, whatever we are giving is the manifestation of spirit in our lives, through us, coming to this center. And so I know that as we give, we set spiritual law in motion, and we receive back more blessings, more richness, more love, more joy, more prosperity in our lives. And I know that that gift that goes from us creates this center to be such a magnificent place of rejuvenation, regeneration, restoration, of all that lifts us and all that holds us close. So I know that each one of us comes together this night to make this center for spiritual living Asheville all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom for all who call it home. And so it is.
And so it is.
everything in these baskets is blessed, because every time we give anything, we give a smile, we give a hug, we give a chance, we give large sums of money, we give opportunity. Whenever we give anything, we give the love that we are. That which we are goes with our gift. So I see it as things in a basket, but I see it as more. I see it as golden light filling up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. And as Spirit moves in our lives, things happen. So right here and right now, each and every one of us is touched. We are blessed and we are healed. And I know that that energy cannot be locked up in a room, no matter how great the room or how great the people. So out it goes to surround this world, to touch, to bless, and to heal every being on this planet. Always here, always now, touching every one of us here tonight, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is.
So it is.
I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.